Hello, my name is Sydney, and today I just felt like sitting down and chatting. I'm feeling really cozy right now, and I'm feeling really good creatively. Why did I pronounce it like that? I'm feeling really good creatively, as I have been the last couple of days. And I think that's because, so in my 24-hour edit-a-thon line editing video, I talked about how I'd been feeling sort of in a rut, creatively, motivationally, just feeling like my book wasn't very good, or just like, not even that it wasn't good, but just like all of its flaws, or all of the things that could have been flaws, or all of the things that could have been perceived as flaws. I was feeling really down about those. And then so I did my writing sprint, and I felt better in terms of like, I've sat down for a few hours and I've worked on this story and I finished it. So I feel really good about that. And then right after that, I started to kind of what is this called? Like flounder? Flounder, is that the word? Where you kind of like start to go back and forth. I started to go back and forth on what I should work on next. I didn't know if I should jump into edits, which is never a good idea to jump straight into another round of edits after you just finished a round of edits. I didn't know if I should like start planning book 2 of Pitchfork, because that's what I want to write for Camp NaNoWriMo. More on that in a bit. And I also didn't know if I should switch over to Stormcloud. And with Stormcloud, the thing is that even though it's been a few months since I've worked on it, like I haven't worked on it since June. Even though I've looked at it a little bit, I haven't like really, I couldn't really think of any ways to improve the story. I still had a bit of mixed feelings after my line editing vlog, and I realized that it wasn't just like in terms of creativity, it was about like just like in general in life, I kind of was just feeling a little bit down. And I realized that my main character, Race, from Stormcloud is my therapist, essentially. Like I kind of already knew this, but I don't think it was totally, I think it's something that I forgot maybe. Whenever I write Stormcloud, it's like I always tend to feel a lot better in general. Like I'm generally a pretty happy person. But sometimes when I'm not writing or when I'm not working on my story, that's the thing that can just bring me down. But whenever I work on Stormcloud, whether things are going well or not, but especially if they're going well, I sort of channel my feelings through Race, through my main character, and I don't even have to be feeling the same things that she's feeling, and she's certainly been through a lot worse things than I have in my life, thank God. But I still sort of like, because I'm channeling my emotions through her, and I'm working through her emotions with her, writing out her emotions, and just kind of feeling, empathizing with her, sympathizing with her, and like writing my way through this character. When I close my laptop at the end of the day, I myself feel a lot better, and it's like it's almost like I'm talking to Race about our feelings, you know? Even if while I'm writing and working on my story, I'm not feeling my emotions, like if I'm sad about something or whatever, even though I'm not feeling that in the moment of writing, it still feels like I'm working through it. And I don't know if that's kind of like, you know, as with your creative brain or whatever, is always like your subconscious is always constantly working, even if you're not aware of things. You know, sometimes you can get like a really good idea after you've let something sit in the back of your mind for a little bit. And I don't know if this is like that, where I'm letting my emotions kind of sit in the back of my mind for a bit, and then I'm working through them with Race, and then when I come out of my story, I start to feel as if I have worked through those emotions. And it's almost like I don't really hold grudges against people, and it's not that I don't want to or anything, I'm totally incapable, because the biggest way for me to get over something or to feel differently about something is to completely forget about it for a little bit, and then when I come back and think of it, it's not a big deal anymore. Like I remember when Justin Bieber became super famous, and I was definitely one of those haters who just hated on him because everybody else hated on him, like, but you know, like I started to actually feel kind of that intense sort of hate, which is putting it strongly, especially in retrospect. I didn't really hate him. I just kind of was really annoyed anytime anything about him came up. But like then I forgot about him for a couple of years. And then when he came back on the radio and stuff, I'm like, you know, it's actually not a bad song, you know? Just putting it away for a little bit and then coming back to it, and then I feel so much better. So I just sat down on my computer, I got home from work, I've got sweet potatoes and pumpkin, like chunks of these things like baking in the oven, because I want to like soften them up, because I want to make like pumpkin butternut squash rolls. Did I say sweet potato? It's butternut squash. I want to make like biscuit bread rolls with that stuff, so I have to like soften that stuff up first. So that's what it's doing, and I can smell it now, and it smells like it's smelling really good. So it'll probably be done in like 20 minutes or whatever. And I've got some tea here in my lovely Edgar Allan Poe quote mug. It's really hard to turn it when there's like a lot of tea, but you know, there's EAP, the man himself. Can you see the steam? Ooh, there it is. So I've got that there, and it's definitely too hot to drink right now. And I got this sweater. Look at this sweater. Oh, I just love this I just love this sweater. Like, look at it. Look at it. Okay. Anyway, it's just making me feel super cozy. I've got my Norway socks on. If you watched my vlog, you saw me put those on for the first time. But I just felt like sitting down to chat with you guys. So all of that about what I just said about like channeling my emotions through my main character Race, all that is to say that I am working on Stormcloud now temporarily. I'm doing like a very mini draft 6 edit. The last thing I worked on was draft 5, and in the past couple of days I've made a list of things to work on, of things that I thought I could improve in the story, and most of them are fairly minor things. One of them was like there's a particular detail that gets revealed toward the end, and I need to obviously set that up, and you know it relates to other details that are revealed, and just having it, so basically it's like moving that around a little bit or having my character discover that detail in a different way. So I mentioned earlier NaNoWriMo, so I figure I might as well announce in this video officially, if it needs to be stated officially, that I do plan to do NaNoWriMo. It is October 18th. Nope, that's not it. October 15th. This month I had intended to plan Pitchfork Book 2. Now I've done that a little bit. I sat down on like Saturday or something, a couple of days ago. No, it was more than a couple of days ago. I sat down and I laid out all my index cards, and I had to figure out the beginning. And the whole thing about figuring out the beginning of this book was that I kept finding ways that it didn't make sense. And the whole thing, and it's also a sequel. So the first book ends in a specific way. So the second book, it picks up immediately after, like literally the next second. And I don't want to change the book 1 ending just to make it easier to play in the second book. You know, that's taking the easy way out, whatever. But the point is, I got the beginning figured out. And by the beginning, I mean like maybe the first 4 or 5 chapters. And so, and then I have a very, 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 very vague idea of how the rest of the book is going to go. So I have this element in my story, which the second book is essentially going to be like a scavenger hunt of sorts, where they're like trying to they have to go to all these places to find like 4 different things. And so once I figured out those 4 different things that I wanted the story to be based around that, and like finding those things, it made it super easy to kind of put my plot into context. Because I mentioned before that book 2 Pitchfork, it was just this list of events that I wanted to happen. Like, oh, this would be cool, that would be cool. So like I have a list of a bunch of things that I think would be really cool to happen, but I had no idea how these events would connect to each other. I had no idea how these events would work, whether they would all even fit into one book. Like I had no idea. And so once I started planning, I started to see that yeah, some of these are not going to fit, so for the time being I'll bump them to book 3 if I can, and then I'll figure that out when I get there. Future Sydney is like, okay, really? Why? Why did you do this to me? But it started to make sense. It started to kind of come alive, and it started to feel like this more concrete thing, as opposed to this, you know, vague thing just, you know, just sitting over there like floating in the air and whatnot. Like it was a tangible thing that, you know, it was really cool to like finally see this thing that I've envisioned for so many, like it's probably been a couple of years at least since I've started putting this list together for Pitchfork Book 2, and it's really cool to see that start to come together. And so the rest of the book is very vague. I have no idea how it's going to happen. I'm definitely going to be pantsing this novel quite a bit. Like yes, I have a general outline, and I normally consider myself like 80% plotter, 20% pantser, or, you know, 80% architect and 20% gardener if you want to go with the George R.R. Martin version. But I'm definitely going to be spending more of this draft flying by the seat of my pants. It's kind of like I'm in a maze, but it's the type of maze where there are maybe 3 or 4 different exits, and there's different ways to get to the exit. So I'm like, basically I know where I'm starting, I know where I'm ending, just got to figure out how to get there. So it's going to be really fun. But I think that's all that I kind of want to chat about today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Down below, let me know how things are going for you guys. How do you feel about Halloween this year? How do you feel about NaNoWriMo? Are you feeling the fall vibes? Are you finally getting to wear your sweaters, your thick socks, long pants in the house? Like, how do you feel about that? Are you eating pumpkin and butternut squash stuff? Yeah. How are your writing projects going? Alright. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a like, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Toot-ta-loo-ta. Hey, ho, ha, woo!
We were in a room so small, I could see